What is LCHF and how can it help you to become healthier and leaner by eating real food until you're satisfied? After watching this short video, you're gonna know. Hundreds of thousands of people have revolutionized their health and weight with low carb, high fat, and new studies and expert reviews prove that it works. But how do you do it? In this video, you'll learn what foods you can eat on low carb, high fat and what you should try to avoid. First, a very quick summary. LCHF means few carbs and a higher proportion of energy from natural fat. And the food comes from real food like meat, fish, eggs, vegetables, and natural fats like butter. And you avoid carbohydrate-rich food like sugar, sweets, and starchy foods, bread, pasta, rice, and potatoes, for example. You may end up eating something like this in a day, just as an example. So, how much should you eat? You can eat when you're hungry until you're satisfied. It is that simple. So, you don't need to count calories. Look things up in calorie tables or go hungry. You don't need any pills, no low-fat products, no meal replacements, and certainly no surgery. You only need food. You can eat LCHF food until you're full and still lose weight. If you avoid sugar and starchy foods, your blood sugar and the fat-storing hormone insulin will go down, stabilize. Then your fat burning will increase and you'll end up more satisfied on less food. So eat when you're hungry until full and then repeat it for as long as you want, maybe your whole life. It's as natural as can be, like breathing. Just remember to choose food with very little sugar or starch, and a simple beginner's rule is to stick to food with less than 5% carbohydrates. But even easier and smarter is to simply learn two things: which foods are good and which should be avoided. And the rest of this video is about those two things. When it comes to meat, you may choose what you like. Beef, pork, game, poultry, bacon, they're all good. The fatty parts are good for you too, and so is the skin on the chicken. Try to choose organic and grass-fed beef if you can. It tastes better, it's better for your health, for the environment, and for the animals. And when it comes to sausages and hot dogs, aim for quality products with a high meat content and no unnecessary additives. Seafood is also excellent. Everything's good. You can choose what you like best. Fatty fish like salmon is great, but avoid breading as it contains carbs. And if you can find wild caught fish, that's the healthiest, with even more healthy omega-3 fat. How about eggs? People on LCHF often eat a lot of eggs, which are perfect and nutritious food. You can have them boiled, fried in butter, or as omelets, whatever you want. Try to buy organic, and if you can find eggs from free-range chickens, congratulations, they are the best. People often ask me, how many eggs can you eat considering cholesterol? And my answer is always, no more than 36 eggs per day. But if you do want to eat fewer, that's fine too, right? When it comes to vegetables, a simple rule is that all vegetables growing above ground are good as they contain very few carbs. You can eat a pound a day without any problems. Vegetables are good. Vegetables from below ground, tubers, contain a bit more carbs, and especially potatoes should be avoided if you want to keep the carbs really low. You can have other tubers in moderation if you're not very sensitive to carbs. Finally, natural fat and sauces. Use real butter and real heavy cream for cooking. Forget the old and silly fear of natural fat. the food gets tastier and you get more satisfied. You can also have rich sauces like béarnaise or hollandaise sauce or garlic butter. Coconut oil and olive oil are also excellent choices. How much fat can you eat? Just eat until you're satisfied, and if you're hungry, eat more fat. Other naturally rich dairy products are also good, like cheese, real cheese, obviously no bland, fat-free plastic cheese. You can also have filling high-fat yogurt, like Greek, Turkish or Russian yogurt with perhaps 17% fat. Why are the high-fat alternatives the best choices? Well, because they keep you full longer and therefore you'll want to eat less, which is good, as dairy products like yogurt and milk does contain some milk sugar, and if you choose the fattiest options, you'll get fuller sooner and you won't get a lot of milk sugar. Low-fat products don't keep you satisfied and often contain fat of poor quality, like industrially manufactured low-fat margarine. It tastes a lot worse, and it may even be worse for your health. Sugary, low-fat yogurt is unfortunately a bad joke. They've removed the natural fat and instead added the same amount of calories in pure sugar, often a huge amount. You can avoid such health scams like the plague. And low-fat milk too should be avoided. It could be called white soda. Sugar and starch that you want to avoid is primarily found in sweets and bread, pasta, rice and potatoes. And the absolutely worst two things for your weight and health are soda and fruit juice, as they contain a staggering amount of sugar. And the same goes for so-called sports drinks and energy drinks. They are sugar bombs. And the last drink to say goodbye to is unfortunately beer, as it's full of rapidly digested carbs. And I'm sure you've heard the expression beer belly. And now you know why beer causes the beer belly. It's because of all the bad carbs. A better choice for special occasions is a glass of red wine. Muffins, cookies, candy are also really bad choices on LCHF. No surprises there. A small piece of real dark chocolate on occasion is a much better choice, or some nuts. It may come as more of a surprise that starchy foods like bread are a problem. The starch in, for example, wheat flour consists of long chains of glucose, and as it reaches the stomach, bread rapidly converts to pure glucose, which raises your blood sugar and shuts down your fat burning. This is what we want to avoid with LCHF food. We want to improve the fat burning, and for that you want to avoid bread, pasta, rice and potatoes. Here's what perhaps surprises people the most. Fruit. It contains a lot of sugar, which you notice of course as it tastes sweet. Try to view fruit as natural candy and eat it only occasionally. Berries are better, they contain less sugar and they're great with real whipping cream. It's a popular LCHF dessert. What should you drink on an LCHF diet? Soda, fruit juice and beer are out. The best drink is plain water. Carbonated or flavored if you want. Coffee and tea will also work. And when it comes to alcohol, there are several smart alternatives that taste good and impact weight minimally, not just red wine. More about this in a separate episode if you're interested. In conclusion, here's classic LCHF food. It's real food with low amounts of sugar or starch. Food that you can eat without guilt. For even more details about different kinds of food, check out dietdoctor.com/LCHF. Now what do you do with all these great ingredients? Which dishes go well for breakfast, lunch or dinner? Do you have to eat breakfast? How do you eat out? Which snacks are good? And what are the most common mistakes that beginners and even some experienced people make? Why do some people get initial side effects like headaches, nausea, fatigue in the first week on LCHF? And what is the simple remedy for it that you can tell people and they'll be grateful for a long time? And how much do you have to watch the carbs? All on this and much more in upcoming episodes. I'll also talk about how LCHF works and which health problems it reliably improves, and tips on how to maximize your own weight loss. And finally, why this knowledge needs to be spread to more people to prevent a worldwide disaster and help millions of people